Assume that you are in a hurry and your petrol tank shows that emergency, empty, alert. You reach the petrol pump and gone. Now you can imagine that if you have an EV and you go to the charging station, wow! Hey folks, Rachana Ranade here and I welcome you all to a very interesting video which is about EVs. Now I'm sure you might have consumed a lot of content, which are the EV stocks, which are the good EV sectors, and many times people start getting the feeling that I know anything and everything about EVs now, and it's just happening. It has happened. The revolution has happened. But I think we need to get back to basics and we need to understand few very important points. Number one, we need to check why this entire fuss about EVs, why a need was felt for this entire EV thing, right? Number one. Number two, is India a part of the game? Or I can say, if India really goes full in the EV revolution, then how much money can India save, right? Number three, EVs, is it a reality or is it still a myth? In simple words, I'll tell you that yes, of course, I know that you can see EVs running on the roads even today. But what is the percentage penetration? Not only in India, at a global level also, we need to check that, right? Number four, you need to know that if I were to travel from point A to point B, how much mileage can an EV give me? Or beech mein band pad jayegi gadi, okay? And EV stocks globally having 3-digit sales growth. That is going to be an important one, and I am going to talk something super important about TATA Motors. So stay tuned. Now let's try and understand why EV revolution was required. Okay, have a look at this chart. Now if you see, this chart mainly talks about the annual temperature mean. Okay, now we are having data since 1880 till 2018. Okay, now here you can see that starting from 1880s till almost, I can say, till 1940s roughly, I can say, the annual temperature mean was always below 0 degrees. Okay, if it is below 0 degrees, of course, it's a good sign, right? But after 1940, you can see that the temperature slowly started going above 0 degrees, again came back, but eventually it has continuously gone up, and right now it has almost touched 0.8 degrees Celsius. Now, is this something like global warming? Yes. Okay. Is this going to be surely harmful for us? Yes. If this be the scenario, we need to understand that to control this entire global warming, what do we need to control? We need to control, obviously, pollution. Okay. Now, is India one of the countries who is really responsible for this pollution? For that, have a look at this figure now. India was ranked as the 5th in the world most polluted country in 2019. Okay. Now, if I talk about cities, out of top 10 polluted cities, 6 cities belong to India. Okay. So, if we were to control this pollution, can I say EV can be a very good solution, right? But then question is, who will take the initiative? Okay, and exactly for that, an initiative was taken, which was known as the Electric Vehicle Initiative. Okay, now we need to understand that which were the countries which took the lead in this entire initiative. Okay, generally two countries which are not very good at relations, generally they would not come together for any initiative, right? Which two countries? US and China. Okay, but for a good cause, they have come together, US, China and Canada. You can see it in this graph, in this chart as well, that these are the lead country members who came up with this initiative that yes, by the way, that CEM is Clean Energy Ministerial. Okay, they've come together and they said, we will take this EV initiative ahead. Is India here? Absolutely yes. We are one of the participating members, and the list of course goes on. This is a base list, and what are they focusing on? They are focusing on making the transportation more energy efficient, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, oil dependence to be lesser, and to improve the local air quality. Well, we did talk about the EV initiative which was taken way back in 2010. Now we need to do a reality check as to where is India right now. Have a look at this chart. I am sure that you are searching for India, but wait for 2 minutes. Na? Okay. Now, this chart basically tells us what is the global scenario first. Now, what is this Norway 2025? What does it mean? By 2025, Norway is saying that will be 100% ZEV sales country. Point means what? 100% ZEV sales means zero emission vehicles by 2025 in Norway. In simple words, if you go to Norway in 2025, ideally, and if you were to buy a car or any electric vehicle in 2025 in Norway, you will have no option but to buy an EV related vehicle. Okay. What about other countries like Denmark, Iceland, Ireland? These countries are saying that we will be 100% ZEV by 2030. Okay. And so on and so forth. We have 2035, 2040. And I'm sure everyone is like, muddyacha bola. Where is India? Okay, so India's target, we are going to talk about that. I read a report which was done by KPMG. It said that ideally by 2030, we will be in a position to achieve 39% of the total sales by 2030. Means what? In 2030, assume 100 vehicles were sold. Out of that, 39 will be EV. Okay, electric vehicles sold. By the way, there is also an EV 30 at 30 campaign. Now, what is this? It says that it's a collective aspirational goal to speed up deployment and reach 30% sales share. 30% sales share for electric vehicles by 2030 amongst participating countries. Now, you know the participating countries. I had shown you the diagram in the previous section as well, okay? So, in simple words, all these participating countries put together, out of 100 vehicles sold, 30 will be EVs. That is the target of EV 30 at 30, okay? Now, one more question is there in your mind. You said that in Norway it will be 100% in 2025. What about India? When will India be at 100%? Okay, Modi ji has said that by 2070, we pledge to be net zero. Okay, so by taking the carbon credits and all that, whatever, we are not going to go into those details. But basically, we're trying to tell that by 2070, we'll be very much inclined towards 100% EVs. Okay. What is the use of this again now? Okay, pollution control mein aayega, everything agreed. Paisa kitna bachega? Is there a monetary impact or not with all these things in place? Okay, for that, just understand a basic point. Okay, right now we all use cars or vehicles which have ICEs, internal combustion engines. Okay, for that we need petrol or diesel, whatever. Okay, how is this made? With the help of crude oil. Okay, now crude oil will either have to import it or we can find it as a reserve within India. Okay, big question is how much reserves does India have as a comparison to the total global reserves? Have a look at this chart. India's share in the world's overall oil reserve is 0.3%. So you can imagine such a huge chunk has to be imported, right? So if we import it, will we have to pay a lot of money? Yes. And how much? Now have a look at this chart. In 2020, 7.17, what? 7.17 trillion INR was our import bill only for crude oil. 7.17 trillion means 7.17 lakh crore rupees. That was the money that we spent only on crude oil import. Now you can imagine, hypothetically, if we had 100% EVs, then this entire 7.17 trillion rupees would have been saved. And I'm sure this would have happened. Amitabh ji would have said, इतने सारे धनराशि का क्या कीजिएगा आप? Well, an amazing fun fact is coming up in a minute. But before that, many a times it happens like, if a country can save so much money, even the head of the country will be like, where shall I invest this money, right? Similarly, people like you and me, smart people, when we save money, we have this question that where should we invest this money? We have loads of investment options, and out of that, one investment option can be investing through Wind Wealth. Wind Wealth is a unique platform which I have covered in the past, and you can refer to the last video here by clicking the I button. Today, I want to introduce you to their amazing referral program by which you are not just going to get access to the debt opportunities earlier available only to HNIs, now available to you all just at 10,000, but also be rewarded for introducing your friends to the platform. The process is pretty simple. Sign up on the platform from the link in the description and refer and earn page becomes accessible to you. Use the unique link generated for you by copying the same and send it across to your friends. Once they sign up, their token will be visible on your refer and earn page. And once they invest, that becomes available to avail. But when will they be able to invest? Wind Wealth is coming up with another issue you can see in the month of January 2022. तो फिर देर किस बात की? 7.17 trillion, that's where we had left, right? Is 7.17 trillion की कीमत तुम क्या जानो इन्वेस्टर बाबू? Pakistan's GDP is 40% is 7.17 trillion. Nepal's GDP is 3 times is 7.17 trillion. And whatever COVID relief package we had given, uska 40% again is 7.17 trillion rupees. Now let's do a reality check. EVs, is it a reality or is it a myth? Okay. What do I mean by this? Let me just quickly explain to you. Like we said that US and China were one of the founding members, right? So if I ask you that out of 100 cars sold in US or in China, how much might be EV sales? 20, 30, 40, 50? Let's do a reality check. Whether it's a myth or reality, let's check it. Okay. For China, in 2020, roughly 1 million. So you can see that 1,000 ka bar on the left side. So that is roughly 1 million electric car registrations and sales took place in China. But if you compare it with the right axis now, you will see that this is less than 10% of the total cars sold. So out of 100 cars sold in China, not even 10 were EV cars. This is the case with China. Now let's go to USA. How many EV cars were sold? Okay, so if I talk about only 2020, it's roughly 250,000. Okay, 250,000. How much percentage? 2.5% in a country like USA. Okay, now if I go to another area, let's say we are talking about Europe, entire region. Okay, here you can see that this number is good. It's almost 1.25 million cars sold, but if I again talk about percentage wise, this is barely 11%. Okay, are you understanding this? Many people are acting as if Dhala, EVs are on the cards, done. It's a reality. It is a reality, but it's very small. See the percentage penetration, it's barely 11%. Are you getting my point? Yes. Now let's zoom in further. Okay, let's go to country specific. A country like Germany, which is famous for automobiles, right? For Germany, how much is the percentage penetration? It's barely 16%. So out of 100, barely 16 cars are sold which are EV cars in a country like Germany, which is so famous for automobiles. France, barely 12%. Canada, barely 4%. At least ma'am tell one good figure. So done. One good figure has to be of Norway. We're talking about 2025 na Norway target. Have a look at this chart. If you see, Norway is almost above 70% in 2020. Is that a very good number? Yes. Okay. Sweden and Netherlands also at almost 30% mark. Again, let me quickly repeat. What was the interpretation of 70%? Out of 100 cars sold in Sweden, 70 will be EV cars. Okay. One question is still there in your mind now. What? India kuthe hai? Where is India? India is at 0.77%. Means if 100 vehicles were sold, not even one vehicle is an EV. Okay. And where was Norway? 75%. Where is India? 0.77%. Okay. So that is a bad point for sure. Okay. But have a look at the CAGR also. How have we moved from 2015 to 2020? We have moved from barely 2,000 sales of EVs in 2015 to 1,68,000 EVs being sold in 2020. This is a CAGR of 133% over a period from 15 to 20. Okay. So is the percentage penetration in India very less right now? Answer is yes, but at least we can see good growth, right? Now let's come to 2020 to 2030 projection numbers now. This is something really important. Have a look at this now. What is the current scenario in 2020? We have roughly 500,000, that is 5 lakh number of vehicles which have been sold. Okay, this is total EV sales, okay, in 2020. Which is leading the pack? Leading the pack is three-wheeler sales with roughly 4 lakh plus EVs being sold in the three-wheeler segment. Okay, this is 2020. Where are we projecting 2030? India. We are projecting it at 80, you can see on the right hand side axis, 80,000, and that is number of vehicles in thousands. So 80,000 means 8 crores. Are you getting the magnification? Our target from 2020 to 2030 is from 5 lakh vehicles EVs sold to 8 crores EVs sold. Is this very high projection? If you ask me, I am not biased, but I really feel this is a very steep target. Okay, if we really achieve this, that will be amazing. But is this going to be a very smooth road? I really doubt. Okay, are there a lot of challenges involved here? 100% yes. Is only India facing challenges? Arey no. In fact, I have done a lot of study and research over this, wherein there was multiple papers which mentioned about what are the challenges which are faced in US, in UK, in Germany, in various parts of the world, in India. What are few solutions that have come up? But if I were to incorporate that part also in this video, it will be like a 1 hour video. So if you want that I should cover about all the challenges that India can face from this 2020 to 2030 transition, do let me know in the comment section and just hit that like button. If I get more than 15,000 likes on this video, I will surely come up with another video on EVs, specific challenges faced globally and in India and possible solutions, right? So 2030, one small point which I wanted to mention is that right now the space is dominated with three-wheelers, but by 2030, ideally the space will be dominated by two-wheelers. And if we were to grow from 2020 to 2030, two-wheeler space will have to grow by 91% CAGR. Three-wheelers will have to grow at 41% CAGR, and others also you can see that 92% and 98%, which again I'm repeating, I feel is a really steep target. All said and done with all the myths, realities, global level, this, that, all big things. But what is our Indian mentality's basic question? Mileage kitna milega? How many kilometers will that car or two-wheeler or three-wheeler run with a single charge? Is the big question with EVs now, right? So for that, have a look at this chart. Today we have a lot of data points, don't worry on that. So if you have a look at this, the yellow dots that you can see, that is the BEV range. BEV range means battery electric vehicle range. With one charge, how many kilometers can it go? Okay, where is the kilometer given? On the right hand side axis. Okay, good. Now you can see those red dots also. What is this red dot? PHEV. What is PHEV? Plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. Okay, how much is the range for those sets of vehicles? Now if you see, those red dots have almost stagnated from 2015 to 2020. No technological enhancement. In simple words, with a PHEV kind of category of a vehicle, the average mileage range would have been barely 50 kilometers. Okay, that's pretty less, right? But if I'm talking about BEVs now, battery electric vehicles, in 2015 with the then technology, roughly 200 range kilometers was available. In simple words, with one charge of the battery, the vehicle could have run up to 200 kilometers. Now here you can see that those yellow dots are continuously increasing till what? Currently it is almost at 350 kilometers mark. Means with one charge, the vehicle can go up to 350 kilometers. I think this is a pretty good range, and if these technological advancements happen and if this range increases, it will be surely good for the entire EV space. And now the important point, EV stocks globally with 3-digit sales growth, and a super important point coming up on Tata Motors. Okay, just have a look at this chart. Okay, now what can you see here? This chart basically talks about global EV sales ranking. Now if you see who is leading the charts, has to be Tesla. Okay, how much cars has Tesla sold? It's almost 400, but it is in thousands, so roughly 4 lakh. Okay, how much is the percentage sales growth? Now if you can see on the right hand side, it's written versus 2020 H1, and in the heading you can see for 2021 H1. So basically we are comparing half year's sale of 2021 with half year sales of 2020. How much is the percentage increase in Tesla? Have a look at this. It is 118% sales growth. Is that a 3-digit sales growth for Tesla? Yes. Okay. By numbers, which is the second one? By numbers, it is the VW group, Volkswagen group, and here you can see they have sold almost 3.21 lakh EVs. Okay. By the way, this is BEV in green and PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, in blue. If you have seen carefully, VW has both. It's almost 50-50% split, but Tesla is 100% EV. Okay, and the jump for VW group has been 168% jump, H1 20 versus H1 21. Third one is GM. Here you can see almost 571% increase. But if I'm talking about absolute numbers, almost 2.2 lakhs vehicles sold, EV sold. Question: where is Tata? Right there down, you can see Tata JLR. How much numbers have they sold? Absolute. It's barely 20,000. Okay, barely 20,000 EVs sold. Here, if you see the percentage jump in sales is almost 108% jump. Is it very good? Yes. And that is the reason why maybe people had gone crazy. That stock had also jumped from almost 250 levels to 550 ke aspas ke levels. Now has cooled down roughly to 470 levels. But this jump, people were saying that, oh, what an amazing jump in Tata Motors sales. But wait. Have a look at the split now. If you see that green line is very small and blue line is more. So if you see the BEV to PHEV split, it's roughly 1:4. Tesla is 100% BEV. Why is this point important? Correlate it with the average. How much mileage is the electric vehicle going to give? EV mileage for BEV was increasing. I have talked about this in the previous section only. But for PHEVs, there was no specific upgradation in that, right? And unfortunately, Tata JLR is more into PHEV. So does that mean that Tata is a bhangar stock? Nope. But many people are betting this to be the multi-bagger in next 1 or 2 years. Have a look at these data points and then take your own decision. Oof, I hope you have enjoyed this information-packed video on EVs. I hope you got a lot of value through this video as well. If you want to know more about how to invest in EV stocks, you can click here. If you want to know more about top 2 auto stocks, you can click here. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye-bye.